Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Nerd Mode On, and I'm going to be doing the next episode of Battlefield News, a video series where I'll be talking about changes and/or events within a particular Battlefield title. So without further ado, let's get started. So today we're actually going to be talking about the March 20th Community Test Environment patch that went into effect for Battlefield 1. Now we are going to be focusing on the most important changes that are currently being done to the community test environment. Now, as a result, I will be highlighting some of the most important information, so of course I won't be covering necessarily every single bulletin point on this entire list, but I do want to bring up some of the most important things that the community might find interesting. So starting things off, let's start by talking about the Front Lines mode that was recently added in the They Shall Not Pass expansion for Battlefield 1 recently. Now, as a result of community feedback, they have re-enabled the timer to the Front Lines game mode. As some of you may have experienced and/or heard about, the Frontlines mode unfortunately at this current time does not have a timer, thus some games were lasting anywhere between a couple of minutes all the way up to a few hours. Now when you consider that most modes in Battlefield 1 last anywhere between 15 minutes upwards of an hour, of course having a mode that lasts anywhere between 2 and 3 hours is unfortunately a little too long for most players that are willing to kind of jump in and play a few matches before they go to work and/or go to bed. Now I do want to preface that the possibility of this game mode having an indefinite timer in the custom game modes is something that DICE is looking into, so of course if you really like that, you may still have the ability to do that with some friends and/or your clan. Now changing gears, let's talk a little bit about the Rupture map, considering that DICE is making a polish of it to kind of fine-tune some of the indiscrepancies of the map, as well as they are making some additions to some of the capture zones as well as some spawning areas. They have reduced the number of planes per team to 2. DICE has changed the capture area of Point D. They have also changed the capture area of Point A. In addition to this, they have added spawn anti-air guns for both teams, so of course this should make it a little less likely for planes to spawn in and already be shooting at incoming players. Ultimately, these changes have been asked by the community when the map was in its testing phases and the community test environment, so of course I'm sure many players are really excited to see the addition of the anti-air guns as well as the capture radiuses increased on these two main points. Now moving right along, let's talk a little bit about the gadgets, considering that the grenade timers have yet again seen their timers increased from their original values. The resupply times are as follows. Mini grenades clock in at 28 seconds, gas grenades clock in at 35 seconds, light anti-tank grenades clock in at 42 seconds, and last but certainly not least, we have the frag, the impact, and the incendiary grenades clocking in at 49 seconds. Now in addition to these changes, they have increased ammo box resupply rate modifier from 3 times to 3.5 for all lethal grenades. Likewise, incoming suppression will halt resupply progress without an ammo box, as well as incoming fire will reduce resupply speed if near an ammo box to 2/3 of its normal value. No doubt these changes should further reduce the amount of grenade spam that is available in Battlefield 1. However, I'm not entirely sold on the idea of allowing players to stand next to ammo boxes to get the better modifier, considering that I just feel like it's going to facilitate more players to use support, ultimately allowing more grenades to be thrown, considering that they are refilling them quicker than other players. Now transferring over to some really interesting news that I really wasn't expecting, considering that I hadn't really heard of any innovation when it comes down to the variant system, but with that being said, they are actually introducing new weapon variants into Battlefield 1. Now the 4 new weapon variants are the Hellriegel 1915 Defensive, the Selbstlader 1906 Sniper, the Hewitt Automatic Optical, and last but certainly not least, the Martini Henry Sniper. Now just in case nothing sparked while I said that, of course all of these 4 weapons are the level 10 class rank for each of the following classes: Assault, Medic, Support, as well as Recon. Ultimately, I'm really excited to see what these weapons are going to bring to Battlefield 1 and see what kind of changes are going to be done to them, considering that while they do have a default counterpart, it's interesting to see what will be done to these new ones to see if they'll be more competitive or less competitive on the battlefield. And lastly, let's talk about a few other changes, considering that Battlefield 1 looks to be really innovating on the Medic class this time around, as well as adding some new ways for players to accumulate more experience while playing Battlefield 1. For starters, DICE is adding 19 new ribbons into Battlefield 1, so of course this is actually going to increase the amount of experience that you're going to be getting per match, so of course it's going to allow you to level up a little bit faster than you already are. Furthermore, medics will now be able to spot dead players to let them know they are attempting to come and save them. The dead player will see a notification in the bottom left, and the medic will get an objective indicator on the corpse. This change is going to be revolutionary for the medic class, considering that it's going to decrease the amount of players that are holding the respawn button attempting to get back to the spawn screen. However, I feel like most players don't realize that they actually don't spawn in any faster while doing this action. Unfortunately, many players have fallen victim to holding down the respawn button, and unfortunately that is really hurting the team when it comes down to having games be a little bit closer, considering that they're wasting respawn tokens when they don't really need to be respawning in the first place. Now, when you consider that myself and many others really enjoy using the medic class, considering that it focuses on teamwork and is really vital when it comes down to the success or failure of a team, this change is actually going to be really great for somebody like me, considering that I can point to somebody that may be in cover, but they also may be a little bit away, while I might have some guys right in front of me that I'm going to be attending to first. This should allow the player to realize that I will try to get to them as quick as humanly possible, but it may take a second or two to run across the street to try to grab them behind cover. But anyway guys, that's really all the information I have for you. Hopefully you found something in the video insightful and or entertaining, but of course I will have this article linked in the description of the video for your viewing pleasure. But until the next episode guys, this has been Mo, and I'm going to be signing out guys. Peace!